We are recording and live streaming whenever you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
All right. 20-second countdown. It's 11 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Isabella County Board of Commissioners, Finance and Administration Committee to order. First of all, I just want to recognize and welcome our new County Administrator Controller, Brian Smith.
Thank
Your
you.
first meeting and
Welcome, sir.
first official thing, at least before me.
Yes, first
Yeah,
official
come on,
day as this
committee,
meeting, yes,
this morning.
yes,
But welcome.
thank you, thank you.
We'll take a look at the agenda to see if we need to make any changes. None? All right, we'll approve the agenda as it stands. We'll do a call to the public. Two very familiar faces out there. Anybody online?
Just let Heidi in, but no hands raised.
Heidi is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to our first item of business. If Heidi's present, we'll go to consideration approving time contract change order number 30 with Clark Construction for the net additional amount of $63,796 and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Good morning, Heidi.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Good.
All right, yes, in front of you, you have PCCO number 30. The total amount of $63,769. Going through the list, the first item on the list is PCO number 129. This is for in the kitchen. So when we were putting in the gas valve over by the hood, the local fire marshal requested that we have a quick access to the valve. So we had to frame out the ceiling in order for them to quickly shut off that gas. So that I had, there was $1,346 to add composite panel there. So it was a damage proof ceiling panel. That item was taken from buyout. The next item on the list was PCO number 180. This is for the request from the mechanical inspector to have access to above the cells in area C, which is the pod area, the detention. Adding the stairs for Kirby Steel was an add of $38,796. And the cost to move some water lines that we needed to, and then for that stair system was a wash with not installing the air curtain. So that was zero cost there. So, and then we had painting, which was to paint those ladders that are being installed of $850. So total from buyout was $39,646. The next item was PCO number 192. This is for base that was not shown on the drawings for the cooler and the freezer. We just had a stainless steel base in there, but we needed something that you can actually wash to and not get food trapped in. So that add there was $1,418. Next item is PCO number 193. This is for the high-speed roll-up doors in the Sally Port. These doors here, there was no security port there so that they could tie into the security system so they could open them when the patrol cars came up. So that add there was $2,075, and that was taken from buyout. The next item was PCO number 197. When we went through at the beginning of the project before we started construction, we went through all the doors and hardware with Poly Jail. And during that time, the sheriff requested that we add some slider door frames. When we did, we didn't realize that within those slider frames, there's a lot more caulking than we were aware of. So that was a scope gap. And so that was an add of $785 to put all the additional security caulk in those frames. And that item was taken from buyout. The next item is PCO number 203. These are exit lights. On the drawings, it showed in area B and some areas of area C, which is a detention area, which is high security, just regular non-secure exit lights. We needed to change those to secured exit lights in those areas so that they were not damaged. And for that change there, it was an add of $6,715, and that was taken from buyout. The next item on our list is PCO number 209. During the cane screen, change that we had to make out in area C, there was a couple lights there that we needed to move around in in the security ceiling. And once that was all built, we found an additional one that needed to be moved. And that there to move that and adjust the ceiling grid was an add of $292. And that was taken from buyout. The next item on the list is PC number 210. Three-way valve piping. The drawing showed us to install it a certain way. In order for us to control those through our Siemens control company, they needed to repipe those. So that was a total of $10,592. And that also was taken from buyout. And then the last item on the list here is PCO number 215. In the main lobby, we have a pistol locker there. So when anyone comes in, they check the pistols there before they go into a secure area. And we needed to patch that because these are surface mounted instead of recessed. The drawing's called for recessed, so we needed to correct that. That cost there was an add of $900, and that was taken from buyout. So currently we are about 95% complete. We have a remaining buyout of $1,174, and total combined with buyout and contingency is $782,948. And the total of PCCO number 30 is $63,769. Are there any questions? I can't hear anybody if anyone's talking. Hello? Is there anybody on the call still?
Heidi, are you there?
Yep, now I am.
All right, Heidi, we've got, Commissioner Jalazinski has a question for you.
Okay,
Going back to PCO 180.
Yep.
The installation of the 2 ladders and 1 ship's ladder, that doesn't do away with the need for a lift, correct, for maintenance purposes?
correct. We still need to have a lift in there for maintenance to get up there and access above the ceiling.
Okay, all right. Well, it looks like we're down to just over $1,000 in our buyout. So unless we have some future savings, we'll probably be moving into our contingency shortly. But what is the percentage of project completed at this point?
And 95%?
95? Okay. Are there any other questions?
None for me, sir.
Thank you, Heidi, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank
Thanks you as well.
Merry Christmas, Heidi.
Would you
Take
like
care.
to make the motion?
I sure can. Move to take consideration for approving prime contract change order number 30 with Clark Construction in the net additional amount of $63,796. And authorize board chairperson to sign the same to our work session Tuesday evening.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded to consider approving prime contract change order number 30 with Clark Construction in the net additional amount of $63,796. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It moves forward. Next one is a discussion regarding American Rescue Plan Act funds. I suspect this is the final game plan for securing those funds so we don't lose them.
This is the final plan. As you're aware, we got to have it committed or spent by the end of this year. We got clarification from our auditors and a person from the Department of Treasury on allowable expenditures of the remaining amount of $1,476,008. We can use that money to reimburse costs associated with the remediation efforts at the old administration building. So that would include the testing and the environmental, et cetera, that was related to that. I have a paper right here that we referred to when we were discussing this with the Treasury and auditors. They agreed that this is an allowable expense, so this would roll up into the general fund. as of 9/30 of 24. So then when we had the expenses of 250,000 for parks, 100,000 for the treasurer, I would recommend that we leave that alone for this point, but then in February, once we can get settled in, then the board may decide at that point to commit those funds out of these right here for specific purposes for the parks and for the treasurer's use. That would be my recommendation. So as right now, no board action is needed for this. We do it on the accounting side, but auditors are aware and treasury gave us the okay.
Okay. How much was that dollar amount that we were able to apply?
$1,476,008.
Okay, and I thought I remember adding up the things that we still had. Dollars we still had, I thought it was what, 1.6? Somewhere in that area?
There was some money that was spent out, so the latest one was with the 1.476.
Okay,
That were based on, you did use 55,000 of that. Early on in the budget to cover for payroll funding and then reimburse back to HATS.
Right.
So some of that money
Okay.
went out at that point.
that's right.
But other than that, this is a nice clean cut way to get this.
I do have a question. I'll start with treasurer-elect. Are you good with how this is gonna work out for you? You
Yes.
comfortable with that?
Probably need the whole 100,000, but I would like to have that option and keep it open for us to use.
Keep it there just in case, you never know.
Pretty good chance all of that.
Okay.
But we don't have our show cause during until January.
Right. So better wait until then. Okay. And then Director Hanson, you feeling comfortable with this process so that, like, obviously we have designated those funds to the park for the sewer system. Now it's going to be pulled back into the general fund, and you're okay with basically a handshake saying that we're gonna take care of you again in January or February and reallocate that money.
Yeah, I've had discussions with Administrator Smith to the effect that. You know, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that the county as a whole retains these funds. We do need funding support for this sewer project. So I am comfortable with it, but I guess I would just take this opportunity to stress the importance of this funding support to our project. And, just hope that by, trying to do what's best for the county at this point, that is returned to our department in the future. But yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with this. I'm glad to see the county be able to successfully use these funds. I know I understand the looming deadline and I know the delays that have been going on with my project. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak to that. And, I guess we'll just move forward. I'm still waiting on a lot of factors with our project as well, and so I'll try to keep the board informed as much as I can as the project develops.
That's the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because again, I would very much feel bad if we lost sight of the importance of that project in lieu of everything else.
I've had multiple conversations with them just to
Okay.
let them know that I can't obviously commit to
No.
with the new board, but they got my backing, then I'm gonna.
Okay.
Push
She
for
knows
that to be
she
done,
knows that I
so,
supported her, and I'm
Yes.
hoping that the board would.
I'm
continue to
100%
support
on
it.
board with what they want to do.
And I'll just say too that I think we have several board members who are aware of this project and the importance of it, and I have had engagement from commissioners who have some understanding of the project, and so that lends a certain level of comfort to the situation too. But again, I don't want to see the county lose these dollars. We weren't in a position to pull the trigger with contracts, and so I'm happy to see this successfully move forward, and I think it's in the best interest of the county as a whole.
Thank you.
And knowing conversations I've had with other commissioners and comments that have been made by other commissioners, I believe full-heartedly that all the commissioners currently on the board are very supportive of both of those uses of the funds moving forward, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other discussion or on the American use of
Rescue
those
plan?
funds?
No, I think so.
All right, we'll move on then to invoice list discussion. Look at the November 29th list first. I don't have any questions on the larger bills or any of the background bills.
No, pretty straightforward.
All right, we'll take a look then at the December 6th list. Are there any questions on any of the $5,000 plus bills or any of the background bills less than that?
And from me in this one.
Okay.
We cleaned up the end of the year stuff.
We will move those two invoice lists forward to next Tuesday's work session. Final call to the public.
No Registrar Jackson? Isn't that, this is our last committee meeting for the year, is it not?
And it's probably one of the shortest ones we've had.
I know, and I was thinking, I would at least get something from her the last go around of the year. Okay. All right.
With that, are there any announcements?
Nothing
Or did I
yet.
already do that?
Well,
Then we'll adjourn
There you
at 11:16.
beautiful.
Excellent.